ARB Board, Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Joining me this evening are my fellow board members, Jane Clare, Jeff Broadleib, John Gregory, and I'm happy to welcome back as a new board member, Susan Stevenson. So welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
So with that, we have quorum, so I'm going to move we open the tonight's meeting, the July 10th meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First order of business is the minutes from the last meeting. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Are there any questions or comments?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to move that we approve the minutes from January 26th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up are written decisions. The first written decision is for 200 First Neck Lane for a two-car garage. Any summary you need on that, Alice? Are you okay?
No,
Okay, did you all have a chance to read the decision
Yes.
for 200 First Neck Lane?
Yeah.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay. The next written decision was for 385 South Main Street for modification of existing dormitory and to add a balcony. Did everyone have a chance to read the written decision?
Yes.
Then I'm going to move we accept the written decision for 385 South Main Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? The next on the list is 92 Cooper's Neck Lane for modification of existing approval for the demolition of an existing garage and construction of a new attached garage, in addition to the dwelling, detached office, pergola, and rear porch. Did everyone have a chance to read the written decision?
Yes.
Any questions or comments?
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm going to move we accept the written decision for 92 CNL LLC, 92 Cooper's Lane. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next one on the list is 104 Post Crossing for landscape and masonry. I'm going to ask that we postpone voting on this until the next meeting. There are some questions from several of the board members. This was approved pending receipt of a updated landscaping plan, and there are a few questions. So I'm going to ask that we not vote on that tonight and hold it until we can talk to the applicant, and we'll bring it into the next meeting. So the next up for written decision is 94 Post.
So
Lane.
we closed the record holding it open only for that written submission, but what they submitted was inconsistent with what they represented at
Was
the meeting.
inconsistent with our understanding of what we'd said.
So
So we will talk to the applicant on that. Next up is,
One question.
Mhm.
So that doesn't impinge on the 30-day requirement?
no,
Gi-
no,
given
no. First off, it's 60.
Okay, that's good.
So, but we closed the record
Yeah.
and held it open for this written decision, which was frankly not received. So, at this point, it behooves the applicant to submit something consistent with what they promised.
Great, thanks.
okay. So next up is for 94 Post Lane, LLC at 94 Post Lane for a front entry rear addition to existing screen porch and partial conversion. Just to remind you, in this one, we asked for, we took the addition to the front door away and only approved the rear addition to the existing screen porch, which is how it is actually documented in the written decision. Did anyone have a chance to read the written decision? Okay, do we have any questions or comments? No. Okay, then I'm going to move that we accept the application for the written decision for 94 Post Lane. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained?
That's for you.
Okay. Next up was Francis J. Ruth at 570 Hill Street for the demolition of an existing dwelling. Did everyone have a chance to read the written decision?
Yes.
I did read it. I just want to make sure the right house is, the right structure is coming down.
Yes. This is the house that's on the south side of the street.
The
The single house that backs up that they're tearing down, they're not replacing.
Right, that's in the rear.
No,
No.
it's its own freestanding faces hill, and
You-
they're tearing it down, but they're not replacing it.
Gotcha.
I think you're confusing it with 783 Hill Street.
Yeah.
This is 570.
yes,
This
yes.
one's 570.
Never mind.
And I rewrote 783 Hill, so we can get to that in a minute.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yes, you're right. Thank you, Alice,
Okay,
as always.
so any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to move that we accept the written decision for 570 Hill Street for demolition of existing dwelling. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Next up is 783 Hill Street for demolition of existing dwelling. And this is to correct an error, and I'd like Alice just to explain it.
Sure. So this determination would supersede the determination adopted on June 26, 2023. This just provides a clarification as to which structure is being demolished and the other two that are to remain.
Okay.
And which one is standing, which one is going? I just to make
Yes.
sure.
So the small one on the west side closest to Hill Street is to remain.
Okay,
I'm
The
sorry,
one
the
in the
west
middle,
side is
back
the
of
one
the
that's being demolished. The one closest to Hill Street is to remain.
right, the big barn is,
The barn is to remain as well.
right, okay, gotcha, gotcha, I gotcha, okay.
Okay, did everybody else have a chance to read the updated written decision? Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, then I'm going to move that we accept the written decision for 783 Hill Street. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
okay,
Next on our list, we have a whole list of adjourned requests for tonight, so I'm going to lump them all together so we can move through it. I'm going to move we accept the applicant's request from Halsey Street Cottage LLC at 89 Halsey Street to July 24th, the Pond Street Capital LLC at 200 Pond Lane to July 24th, 69 Halsey Street LLC at 69 Halsey Street to July 24th, and 71 Hill Street LLC to September 25th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
aye,
Which now moves us on to, all the way down to new matters, and the first up is 39 Lewis 1 and 2 LLC at 39 Lewis Street. Is the applicant here? Because I'm going to move at the chairman's request that we adjourn this till our next meeting. Our next meeting is on 7/24 because I found the file to be incomplete.
Mr.
There
Chairman,
is not an
I was in
updated-
touch
there
with
is
the
not-
applicant this afternoon and said as much to him.
Okay, there's not an updated survey yet in the file. And the other thing to tell him is in the file, the pool house that was approved in the original application last January is different from the pool house, and they know this. But they actually have to present to the board the original approved pool house and the requested updated pool house to show the differences. So everyone on the board, because several members weren't here then, actually understand what was completely approved before we know what we're going to approve.
Yes, I did ask for that, and they said it would be ready in time for the next meeting.
Great, that's great. So do I have a second?
Adjourning to July 24th.
Adjourning to July 24th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you. Then next up is 468 First Neck Lane, demolition of existing dwelling. Is the applicant here? I believe he is. And you have affidavits and they're in order.
Yes.
And I remembered to ask. Hello.
Here. Hi.
How are you? State your name, please.
Good. My name is Arthur Fraser. I'm the agent architect for the owners of 486 First Neck Lane LLC. The owners are asking for the board to consider a certificate of compliance that would allow them to remove the existing structure. The building is a single-family residence. I think this was in your packages, but just to review. It underwent substantial renovations in the mid-1970s, and it reads, with all due respect to the former owners, sort of a high ranch with a series of single-story appendages on it. It appears to have little architectural or historic significance, and it's listed on the National Historic Places Inventory as a non-conforming modern residence. I also just recently got letters from a neighbor, Bob Jufra, who is supporting the application. Should I read Bob's letter or no?
No, I don't
Okay,
think
it's
you
not
need to. We'll just,
necessarily.
we'll put it into the file. We'll read it into the file.
And yeah, being an attorney is much lengthier than mine. So is there any questions about the application?
Board members?
What's the code now, Alice, in terms of within the historic district? Have we gotten the code such that if there's a demo, we have to see a replacement?
Yes, if the board determines that the structure as it exists is contributing to the historic district, then they require what is being replaced to be shown. So
Okay.
first, we need to determine if this is contributing. Now, just because it's not contributing on the National Historic Register doesn't mean it's not contributing to the village's historic
Right.
district. So
Right.
that will need to be determined by the board, I would say first, and then the board can determine what the next action should be.
Okay. And the year this was built, Arthur? The house?
In the mid-1970s. I
Okay.
think there was something there earlier,
Yeah.
but not like
There was a low
1900, there was a little,
building
yeah, that's what I'm trying to
that
find.
was, I believe, probably historic, but that's long gone.
Yeah,
It
swallowed up by
It
the,
was like a shed, it was long, I don't know what,
yeah.
pottery, I don't know what they were doing,
I-
greenhousey kind of work.
I guess that's my question, though. Is it, in the existing building,
It just,
even in the core somewhere, is there any part of it that
No.
No.
was a historic?
And
Okay.
I honestly think this thing is an eyesore, so there you go.
That's what Bob Drew said.
Oh, really? And I haven't talked about it,
It's-
so
okay,
that's
yeah.
just what I think.
Because basically what I found and what I read through the original house, there was something there before. The substantial part of this house was built in the 70s, and there was some sort of update to it in the early 90s.
90s,
That's right.
Correct.
Yes. So there's 2 rounds of construction, but neither of them, I don't find anything in either
No.
rounds that would,
And it was an
Uh,
accessory structure,
yeah.
by the way.
and
What's this? Oh, this is Bob's
that's
letter.
one for the file. But I don't see, in my walking it
Right.
and reading it and going through the files, I didn't find anything
Right.
that would give me reason to
Right.
consider it contributing.
And-
You can see it
Yeah.
from many
Many,
historic
yes.
Right.
Venues, so I actually think
Right.
it's got it.
And Arthur, in Bob's letter, he indicates that Ken and Anna Fox own the property. They're
Yes.
the owners of Makamonto as well,
Yes.
correct? Okay. So hopefully and presumably, they'll do something,
As good as that?
yes.
Yeah, the intention is to spin off of that and do something
Okay.
similar as a small
Yeah.
guest house. Ken says he's done with big houses.
How many years
He's-
did that
Just
take?
because this is a new change to the code, I'm gonna just reiterate this here. If this had been a contributing structure in a historic district, anyone who comes to us with a demolition request with a contributing structure in a historic district, we also require to see what the replacement will be at the same time. Because this is not currently a contributing structure, and I don't see any support to make it a contributing structure, that doesn't apply here, but anyone who's listening, know that that code did change this year. The other code that changed this year, which isn't applicable here because you can see it, it no longer matters whether or not it can be seen from the street.
Oh,
That was struck from the code as well.
that's good.
So, do I have any questions or comments from the public? Do I have any board members feel any reason this could be a contributing structure? Okay. Then I'm gonna move that we move to written decision, the demolition application for 468 First Neck Lane LLC. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Oh, wait, we didn't take public comment.
Yes,
Yes,
we
it
did.
Oh, we did, I'm sorry.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
I
very
think you're
much.
not moving, right?
Thank you.
Because next on our list is Longhampton Island LLC, 55 Cooper's Neck. Oh,
Oh.
okay, great. Do you have affidavits? Are they in order?
Yes.
Who are we talking about?
55 Cooper.
No, who's the guy?
Oh.
Oh,
Please
my
introduce
name is
yourself.
Keenan Way.
Oh,
I'm the architect and agent for the owner.
could I just, I went over there today. What structure are we talking about over there?
We're talking about the one on Great Plains Road.
Little Plains?
Yeah,
Great
Little-
Plains,
Yes, the one that's so it's not
right up against, that was,
Right on the street.
and is that part of the, that is part
part
of
of
the?
the 55 Cooper's Neck Lane
Oh, okay.
property.
So, I actually trespassed my way right in there and
Well,
walked
there's no
around the
gate.
pool, but and then I went around the corner and saw that building that I had worked on previously many years ago, cause it was I was on the ARB, and there was a lot of talk about that. So I just didn't know which one it was. Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
But it's a gatehouse for the
Yeah,
former
yeah,
villa
from the
that was
former
that they
whatever.
demolished in 1932. I
Right,
believe.
it's a stucco thing.
Yes.
Yes, okay, go
And
ahead. Sorry I interrupted you,
No,
but
it's
I
okay.
just wanted
It's-
to know
it's,
what we
um,
were talking
We
about.
want you to know
we're still on track.
Cause the other accessory buildings didn't seem to need any repair, and it was like,
This one does.
All right,
Oh.
let's move
Yeah.
forward with the presentation.
So basically, it is in need of repair. There are leaks making its way in from the terracotta roof. The terracotta roof, this is a large photo. You can see it starting to deteriorate. And so leaks are coming down the stucco walls. And although I was able to find in the, I think you all have a copy of this, correct? There's more information on the former palatial villa that was there. Not much on the gatehouse itself.
On the blue sheet?
And but the base, I don't have information at what stages the gatehouse was constructed, it seems like it was a smaller footprint, and then it just got added on past the 1930s up until probably before the, probably 70s or 80s, I guess. There seems to be no information, but there are leaks between where the new and the old meet on the exterior. So that's what we're trying to repair and replace the roof. So we also are replacing all the windows because they are single glazing, they're inefficient, they're rotting, some of them, and what else?
I'm gonna ask you to do this. You have the elevations there. Page 103. Why don't you just take us through it? It's my understanding you're not making any changes. This is all about repair.
Correct.
Okay, so if you just quickly take us through elevation by elevation,
Sure.
just so we understand if there's any questions about by elevation, what you're proposing to look at, that would be
I actually
great.
have two packages, these are all floors.
I guess one of the questions I had, Mark and Alice, if this is repair, and, you know, why is it necessarily coming before us?
Well, let's let him go through it.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
in case there's a change in material or something.
Okay,
that
Yeah.
okay,
For some reason, the building department has determined that we should look at it.
okay,
So let's. do
that's
that.
fine. Okay.
Yes, that's my understanding too, that it should go before you. There are some of the window shapes, we are because it's a hodgepodge of slider windows and double hung, we do wanna make it consistent and change, them to the slider windows, so there's like the before and after. And one of them, actually for a bedroom, we found out that it doesn't even meet code, like the sill is too high from the bedroom side, so you would actually, in the event of a fire, you would not legally be able to escape through that window, so we want to enlarge that, and I think that's on the bottom of page 103,
Yep, so let's
towards
start.
the left side.
Okay, are you on the north elevation or the north elevation above?
Yes, the north elevation, so above would be the proposed, where it's a
Okay.
little bit larger,
Yep.
this is the first and the second window from the left.
Okay.
That's the one that's being enlarged, and then you can see the current size below, where the sill is too
Okay.
high.
And can you tell from that portion of the building, of the hodgepodge of the buildings, which was the original structure?
Yes, let's see if I can find a plan. I think, okay, so on page 101, let's get over here. We think the original footprint, based on the structure that we've been able to observe, is just this actual small portion. Because the conduits in the dining room, for instance, they're surface mounted, there's actually, it's a solid terracotta masonry wall. On the upper left is that little mechanical room that opens up to the driveway. This is, says mechanical room 119 on the
Yep.
upper left of the first floor. You can see the exposed terracotta on the inside of that mechanical room. It's really quite interesting. They're kind of like these.
Okay, so you believe
Blocks.
that's the original structure?
I think so, because these walls become thinner, they still did it with the terracotta roof whenever that was added on.
Sage, are you able to get that, please?
Sorry.
Not you.
Oh,
Oh. There we go.
There you
Thank you.
thanks.
Can you go in a little?
No, don't move it.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Sage has skills, he'll find it.
there we go.
Thank you. So this part here is the first floor, and this is where the driveway is actually here. I've kind of condensed it versus the second floor. There's only the second floor above it. And it seems like they added a stairwell on the exterior. It probably was in the interior side a
Okay.
long time ago, but this is the one with all the diagonal windows that you see on the
Right.
exterior that you're kind of like, this makes no sense to it, but I guess it makes the layout more efficient.
So although we don't normally look at interiors, we only normally look at exteriors.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at this floor plan, can you show me where the window is that you're increasing the size of the window
Over
opening?
here on the upper right.
Okay, which you do not believe is in the original historic part of the house. That was one of the later add-on pieces.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out if we were changing a true historic opening in this house or a piece that was done in a later date.
It's the second bedroom, right, or
Yeah.
what's called bed two?
Yeah, it's bedroom two.
Okay. Then let's go back to your elevations.
Sure. Going back to page 103, so that's
Okay.
the only opening on the northwest side that's changing.
Okay.
I think of interest is kind of like, this is all walled off and cemented, it's just like you can see the former window sizes and the chimney kind of on the
Okay.
right hand. That's actually closer to the driveway. the next page, on page 104, are the guest house, east elevations taken from two different points. On the number 2 on the right side, that's more of the original house, the double story.
Okay.
And then the number 4 on the upper left, that's where you're seeing the far east elevation of the added on piece, which is just bedrooms over there. Page 105 on the south.
Let's stick to 104 for a second. So on 104, what you're proposing is taking what appear to be, are they actual sash windows? Are they are they 1/1s and you're taking them to sliders? Is that what's happening here?
Yes, just to make it consistent with
Okay.
each other throughout the house.
And in the windows that are there currently, are those, I'm assuming those are replacement windows when you go through them? From the
Yes.
outside, they did not look like original restored windows. They look like vinyl replacements, but
Yes.
is that what
Yeah,
they were?
and they are falling apart too, so
Okay.
that's why, and single glazing.
And can you tell me the reason why you're choosing to go to all sliders versus going to all sash windows?
The sliders just, partly because of the, code, we don't want to enlarge the window openings themselves, but I think from the bedrooms, the way I understand it is you should be able to open one and be able to leave it. I don't think that's a requirement on the second floor, but, it could be wrong. But definitely for a first floor, which is
Okay.
what we were talking about.
So you're doing
in
it for
the bedroom.
egress?
And yes, we're doing it for egress, because there's not enough square footage if you were to do a double hung.
So I think you actually have to do it, the second floors where you might have to jump out the window and fire, so.
Yeah,
But the majority of the current windows are sliders.
they are.
Yeah, they're sort of half and half.
Yeah, it really is a
Okay.
unique mix.
So the only proposal that we're seeing on here besides restoring and fixing is you're changing all the sash windows to sliders. And you can please go through the color material of those windows?
Sure. We want to, in the last page, there should be a color code. We're basically sticking with the current color scheme, the classic white with colors. So, and soft off-white for the stucco itself.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry I'm bouncing you around this, but now we can go back to 105. This is the same situation?
Yes, no opening changes on this side.
Okay. And on 106?
Yes, our famous west elevation with the stair diagonal windows.
Okay.
And really, it's that kind of like half arch in the pillar in the corner with a scroll. That's probably the only historical kind of relief and motif I probably see from the previous architect, the original architect, I should say.
Okay.
So that's all, 107 is all the different windows.
Okay.
On 108, there's a rafter detail. We have to replace the, repair some of the carpentry, so we intend to keep the original eave profile
Okay.
of the rafters.
Okay. And those are exposed, the
Those
back-
are, yeah, some of them are exposed.
Yeah, okay. And that's all repaired.
Yeah.
Okay. Board members, questions?
None for me.
I was just gonna say, it seems that the double hung would be more appropriate for an older structure like this, and I understand that you're trying to make things match up, but I'm not sure if that's the best option at this point.
I actually tried that at first, and then we were told about the code, and I was like, oh shoot. So we did our investigation with that.
I mean, if the style of this were more cottage, traditional Southampton, I might agree with that, but for this house,
It's totally inconsistent in itself,
Yeah.
just for
Ke-
starters. You
Keenan,
go over
I'm
there,
sorry.
it's quite a sight.
Keenan, do you know what the 1930 windows might have looked like?
There are no pictures in the
Yeah.
registry. I really don't
And wasn't this like the gatehouse?
It was a gatehouse.
So I don't think they were really.
They might not even
Sure.
have windows, it might be
Yeah.
open air.
I mean,
Yeah, you're right. It was like,
It would be my preference to stay with sliders and not change the size of historic window openings.
yeah,
it would,
yeah.
it would
Because,
ruin the building to make all those openings.
because it, down the line, the windows could always be removed and other windows put
Yeah.
back in.
No, it's,
But if we change the
right.
size of the windows opening, I think then we're going into historic
Right.
material.
it's hard to argue replacing the poorly constructed, cheap 1/1s with better glass and keeping it consistent. So it's hard. I mean, it will be a better look, a different look. And that's why I was curious as to what might have been there.
You can't see that much of it on the
You
street.
really can't.
You
Yeah.
cannot.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
the weird thing that goes, the
Yeah,
staircase.
yeah.
I kind of like that,
Yeah, no, actually, I like
I like
It's
that
a
too.
sort of
it's a
I
funky.
like
little
that
ugly.
part, but
I mean,
the
no-
other's a mystery.
I mean,
It's okay.
emotionally, I
It's-
agree
it's
with,
good.
emotionally, I agree with Jane,
Yeah.
actually. I think sash windows would look better. Practically, I think that would,
And our rule has changed as far as whether you can see it from the street or not at this
Yeah.
point, that's not
That-
really
that's
Yeah.
true.
Right.
The, but
learning my stuff.
the practical issue is if we would have to change the size of historic openings now to meet current egress code,
Mhm.
that to me, maintaining existing size matters to me more than the sliders versus sash.
I'm good.
Do I have any comments from the public? And thank you for doing your homework on this and figuring out which house was original.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're welcome, thank you.
all right. Then if there are no other questions, I think I'm going to move that we move to written decision. The applicant's requested 55 Cooper's Next Lane to repair the exterior and existing accessory structure with one minimal opening change for one window, and moves to sliders. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay. Next up on the list is 49 Breeze Lane for the construction of a two-story single-family dwelling with attached garage. Welcome back. How are you? Please introduce yourself for me on stage.
Joe Chardy, I'm acting as the agent
And
and the.
as close to the mic as
Acting
you
as
can.
the agent and the builder
Yep.
for this project. I'm here to review the adjustments you guys wanted to make at the last meeting to see if they were all adequate and good for you guys.
Okay. These are. Susan's kind of, she's gonna pull up the last set of drawings. First, which were these? Do I have a smaller set? Which are these? Okay.
First item that we wanted to revise was the window over the front door.
Let me go back and go to my
The mic,
notes.
he can't.
Sorry.
Yeah,
the
stay by the
public
mic,
can't hear
please.
you.
Yeah.
We can.
The first item
And
was,
Sage, if we get that, can we get that on camera? That'd be great. Okay?
first item was reducing the size of the window over the front door. To a casement, double casement unit.
Yep.
Second item was to remove the metal roof over the front door, the covered porch, which we did. And made it more symmetrical, like we requested. In the front, we made the gambrels more prominent, like you requested. Straight down instead of having a kick on the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
We also made the garage door more symmetrical on the gable, as you requested. On the other side, we pushed the right side wall back, so it looks much more symmetrical from the front. And you have the
Okay.
same size wall on each side of the garage door.
Okay.
West elevation, we removed the handrails that were above the screened-in porch. Which does make it a lot more even.
Okay.
And then we reduced the size of the window in the middle over the back glass doors. we made it to a double casement unit as well. And then across the back of the house, we reduced the size of the glass, we added in more wall space, and we made divided lights in the glass so it would match the top windows. Changed them into in-swing French doors with the grills. And then, as you requested, we removed the hatching of the screen porch, I guess, for visual, just, we had the screen in the plans, but they're not there now. And that was it.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
It's a whole long list, and that was it. All right. Board members. Jane, John? Sorry. Jeff?
No comment from me, or at least no objections to the changes that were made. I think one of the things I take into consideration, and I hope it's the case, that the two-dimensional drawing doesn't do justice because the garage is proud to the rest of the house, and
Yeah.
it's set further back.
What I did for that, just
Okay.
that front page, that is it shows what we did with the garage where we stepped it back. It's on your first page already.
Let's see.
It was here, we go back, so the front will be symmetrical, where we still
Okay.
kept the storage of the garage there.
Okay. All right.
Well, first of all, I think the change in materials to remove the metal roof and the completion of the gables over the roof line looks much more complete and looks much, much better now. I think it's brought the house in line. I actually think the reduction of the reduction of the windows and the glass sizes, you actually have made the house look a little bigger. Interesting. And it feels a lot more in keeping with Hampton, sort of Southampton form and Southampton material. Do you have any questions, any comments from members of the public?
Sorry, I'm still having a hard time with the garage, the way it's set back. I can't,
It was flush with the front facade of the house, the extra wall, so what the architect did is he pushed it back, it looks to me, about 10 feet, so the front of the house can be, the garage door could be equal in the middle of that gambrel, or that section of the house. So he took square footage away from the garage, basically, yeah.
okay. Oh, I see, okay. Got it, okay. I see
So,
now.
so what you're saying on this site plan, then the garage, which is
Yes,
equal to the front
it'll come
porch,
back,
it's coming back,
it'll come
to
back that, where it bumped out before, yes.
gotcha, okay.
All right, yeah.
So the house will be approximately, I would say, what, 6 feet beyond the current footprint?
Yes,
Yeah, something like that,
just,
If
yeah,
I
make
had
it
it.
look better in the front.
yeah, yeah. And where the existing house is. It's set further back on the
Yeah, it
property,
was, yes.
yeah,
That corner, yes, definitely is.
Yeah.
Yes.
and the whole house,
Yeah, the whole house
Right.
is set back.
yeah. So if it's all gonna be like that, then its scale is reduced.
It scales with this, and it actually comes more in line.
And it's a fairly deep property.
It is a
Yeah.
fairly deep property, it is. We are a little bit more away from the road than the original house was.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, did I ask for comments from the public? I think I did.
You did.
Okay, in that case, listen, I think, thank you, you've addressed everything we asked you to address, and I think it's a great-looking house, and I hope that you feel the comments have sort of brought it in line,
Come
and I
and
think,
come and hang out with
made
Wild Rose.
people happy. So on that, I'm going to move that we accept the application for 49 Breeze Lane for the construction of a two-story, single-family dwelling based on plans dated July 6th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
I can't vote.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. That now brings us to Welcome to New Home LLC, 100 Narrow Lane.
I think he was calling in for this, wasn't he?
I think so.
I actually forgot what it was we asked him to change.
Is he here? Is the applicant here?
They- Where?
He's bringing him
Okay,
in.
thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can't see you though.
Good evening.
Oh, there you go.
Can I share my screen for 2 seconds, please?
You can.
Only two.
First of all, introduce yourself, please.
Mayron, Studio B&M, the architects for the project.
Okay, thank you.
All right. These are the old elevations that we discussed last week.
Yep.
We made one more change to produce even more glass. I don't know if you can see my cursor.
No. Tell us which elevation are you on? Oh, there, I can sort of
We're
see.
on front elevation,
Okay, what page are you on?
A200.
A200.
Okay,
The space between the two gables,
yep,
small gable and large gable, we had 2 windows previously and 2 panels.
yep.
Now, if you look at the new drawings, which are, I don't know if you can see my screen, I'm not very good at this.
You're doing fine.
It looks so much better.
Yeah, two windows, it goes with the scale of that small space. And the rear on 201, that the larger gable was encouraged by the board, and we decided to go with that.
In the previous iteration, this is the previous iteration, we had all these.
Those are the old ones, and this is the new one.
These windows, including these gangs, came from a 3-gang, because they were 1 panel,
I don't know if you can see that now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm bringing Susan up to speed.
Those 2 windows, the 2 on each floor would reduce to 1,
Correct.
which is
Okay.
much better with the scale of that space there.
Okay,
And the elimination of the panels also.
yeah, the panels are
Yes, yes, we got rid of all of them. Didn't make sense really when we thought about it deeply.
done. Board members,
I guess my only comment, maybe it's not even the shutters. Why shutters
Yes.
on just those 2
on the gable ends?
gable
You
ends?
see those gables are much wider than the gable in the middle.
Yeah.
And initially, we had 3 windows on each side, on each floor, and by getting rid of the 2, by reducing the 3 to 2, we had way too much wall space left. It didn't feel right with the scale of the gable.
Yeah.
And then we introduced shutters only on the larger gables.
Okay.
Jeff, Jane? Any comments?
It's definitely an improvement over what it was. Does seem to still have an awful lot of glass in the back.
Here would be my
Yeah.
question, here's my questions, let's talk about lighting for a second.
Sure.
Are you planning to put surface mounted fixtures on this house?
On the garage only, that's it.
What-
And
Aren't you
Any-
required
any-
to have, aren't you required to have surface mounted fixtures on the back by the sliding doors?
but they're not gonna be uplights though.
No, but what I'm gonna need to see is
Right.
where the surface fixtures are going. Cause one thing that's bothering me,
Yeah.
when you look at first of all, I'm gonna thank you, because I think, where we were last week was sort of the,
Right.
unnecessary dormers, and now the way you've adjusted the roof line, I think looks great. When you go to the
Right.
back, when you look at page A201, see
Mhm.
how you've got the, steps leaving the house only as wide as the doors, not as wide as the entire window?
Right.
Those should
Those are-
those should be the width of the whole window.
Not a problem. Mark those 2 at each side, the stationary panels though.
Yeah, I know, but still visually,
Right.
it looks Minji.
Okay,
So I think those should go the width of the windows, and I think you will, I think by code you have to have a light fixture by your exit door,
that is correct.
and you have to, by code, have surface mounted light fixtures by the sliders that head out into the backyard.
That is correct.
And I think by code, you have to have lights flanking flanking your garage doors.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have enough depth in the front yard, so by the front door, so I'm assuming that's a ceiling mounted fixture that shines down. You don't have a plan to put a fixture in there?
A ceiling mounted fixture, that is correct, Mark.
Okay. So I think, but we do need to see them on the plan, and we do need to know what they look like.
Right.
And I think for me, if you widen those steps across to the width of the door, it's gonna make the doors feel grander, and right now it looks a little value engineered. So I think by making those wider, that's gonna help you.
Not a problem.
But other than that, compared to where we've started, those would be my comments. Anyone else? Okay. So I think I hear you asking for an adjournment.
Mark, is
Did
there
we
any
get
way?
public comment?
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
Are there comments from the public? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Is there any way we can have the approval contingent upon us submitting the drawings? And we'll show the lighting, and we'll increase the size of the stairs in the back? No problem doing that. Because this is our, fourth meeting, and I'm getting a.
To be honest with you, here's why I need to see it, because we need to see what the light fixtures look like.
Sure.
So I'm gonna actually say no, I need to see the final blueprint, and we need to see the location, size, and scale of the fixtures on the house. If it were just the width of the stairs by the doors, I would do that. But I think
That's
since
fine.
there's no lighting fixtures indicated, we do need to see them, and we're gonna need to see them for scale, color, size, and understand the light, any kind of light details on them.
Sure. And do you need a catalog cut on that, Mark?
I'm sorry?
Do you need like a specification on those, like a catalog cut?
The cut
Yes,
sheets.
that would be perfect. So have them drawn onto the drawing, and then give me a catalog cut of what they look like and what color they're gonna be. And that'll also let people know that they're ADA compliant and they are dark sky compliant.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be great. I think Susan, do you have a question?
No,
Okay.
I'm not on this.
All right.
I like dark skies compliant.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
everything.
So I'm going to move, we accept the applicant's request for an adjournment to July 24th for Welcome to New Home LLC at 100 Narrow Lane. Do I have a second?
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Any
guys.
abstain?
Thank you very much.
I know this sounds small, but I think we're down to it now. I appreciate how much work you've done. If I can just see if we can just all see the final set with lighting fixtures, I think we'll be ready to go at that meeting for you. I know you're ready to move.
Not a problem.
Okay,
Not a
thank you very
problem.
much.
Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Bye.
Make this a little note here. Okay. So the next two have already been adjourned. So that takes us to carryover matters. The first is for 32 South Main Street driveway gate. That's a new matter historic. Do you have affidavits and are they in order?
Yes.
Fantastic. Is the applicant here? Good evening. Please come to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Greetings. Mark Cirillo from AutoGate Systems,
Okay.
representing 32 South Main Street.
Okay.
How's everyone?
We're well, thank you. I can't speak for everybody. I'm okay.
Summer's here.
Yes. It's not as bad as last meeting. Are you going to share your screen and present that way?
Only if we had to view the image, a photographic image of the driveway. But
What?
otherwise,
Well,
We'll go.
anything that you have that the public can look at would be appreciated.
yeah, okay. Just waiting for it to come on.
you,
Mark, if you have hard copies, you can put
Yes,
them
if
on
you have hard
the
copies, just lay them on
table,
the
and
table.
Sage will pick them up.
Okay. So that's our elevation sketch for a sliding gate
okay.
over the driveway opening.
Sage, can you pick that up? Okay.
No.
I don't have it.
What's that?
Well, this is hard to find.
That's hard to see.
I don't know what that is.
You want it?
It's typical.
I think I've got it.
I didn't get it.
Okay,
Well, I know what it is.
Oh.
I know what it is.
here we go.
How tall is that?
Oh, Mark, can you just
Yeah.
flip it around?
inches, the gate itself.
Face us.
There you go.
50?
There we go.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Do me a favor, just,
Probably
just take this piece of paper and put it on the table if you would. I'll help you here, 'cause I think, there you go. Just put that on the table facing us if you would.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And that's your elevation. Okay. All right.
Yeah, what happened to it on the thing?
Okay.
All right, so what the client requests is a cantilever sliding gate. It's gonna slide across the driveway, and when the gate is open, it's gonna slide into their enclosed courtyard. So from the street, the courtyard is in this space directly in front of the house. So the gate slides open behind the hedges that front South Main Street.
So if like, basically, if it slides south and when it's open, it's behind the hedge.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that an evergreen hedge or a privet?
No, it's not arborvitae. What's the
So there's the picture. right
green giant
Okay,
hedge?
Yeah.
so an evergreen.
Green, evergreen all year, yeah. And about 5 feet in thickness as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now if you'll take us through the gate.
So the gate's going to be constructed of aluminum frame.
Okay.
The columns are going to be paneled Versatex. Everything will have a paint finish. And then the vertical pickets that you see there, those are painted wood.
Talk to me about the aluminum. Is it shiny?
No, the aluminum is going to be a powder coat, a paint finish as well. Now, we have on the elevation sketch white. And I'm going to say at the outset, the client does have a request for black. And the reason being for that, if you look even at the image of the driveway here, if you can envision the gate across the driveway, black is less is more visually. But we discussed it, and they're prepared to go with the board's recommendation, but that is their, that is their request.
Okay.
The columns are going to be a pocket-style column that the gate slides through, like a pocket door. It's exactly the same that we did at 37 Pond Lane
Okay.
with lead-coated copper cap. The light fixtures will be moved, and those black posts that you see here in the image on either side of the driveway will come down.
And are there lights on the gate?
The lights will be on, the lights that are on the gate, that are on these posts that are here now, those will move to the top of the columns.
What do you mean, top of the columns?
They'll sit on the column cap of the gate. Here's a column here.
Sorry, can I have my picture back? Now I need to see
I'm
it.
sorry.
I don't, that's not on the drawing though, is it?
No, it makes it look taller.
As, you do not have light fixtures on what's in front of us.
No, the light fixtures are existing that are on these posts that are on
But
either
in,
side
in
of the driveway.
but in what you're showing us in terms of what you'd like for your gate, they're not on here.
They're not on the gate posts.
So your drawing is not actually accurate if you're planning to put light posts on top of that.
Well, and those posts are 6 feet off the ground, so they're considerably higher than the post you're proposing for the gate, aren't they?
Correct, yeah. They would bring the lights down lower.
Oh, so they're not, it's not the same placement. They wouldn't be up in the air.
No, 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 not at all. Those posts are 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
The
that's,
existing posts.
yeah. I don't know. In the village proper, I mean, if this was a big estate section with a vast amount of property where the lights might mark a location, I would be, amenable to that. But in this, I just think it's a lot of light. And even though they currently exist, if we're looking at something completely new, I'd rather see it without them.
Is there a street light right across from it?
Are they dark skies compliant?
Pardon?
Are they dark skies compliant?
I don't know what's there now. Are they dark skies?
Is
I
what,
can't-
is what you're proposing dark sky compliant?
They would be.
But,
Or-
wait,
Uh,
so
just-
so you're proposing new lamps or the ones that are shown in the pictures here?
No, what I'm trying to indicate is that the existing black posts that are here now, they're on either side of the driveway.
Right?
We didn't want to see so much out there. We can take those down, and the new gate is actually going to go behind those black posts. There's actually going to be space created in these shaped bushes. The gate's going to slide behind that.
So, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
I'm confused.
Yeah,
I just-
So,
we're
go ahead.
leaving the posts, the gate's going behind the post,
Take the post down,
posts are coming down,
yes.
New posts are going
new
up,
posts are going up,
and the gate slides behind them.
and you want lights on top of the posts in the
Yeah,
drawing.
the gate will slide through the new columns, as in
Right,
like a pocket door.
get that.
But you're asking for the lights to be on the top of the,
Of
Columns.
the gate post rather than on this
Right.
black post that's there.
right,
Right.
but you don't have that in your drawing
Right.
here. Your drawing just shows a cap on the top of
Right.
it.
Right.
Is that correct?
It is, that's what's on the drawing.
So we would need to see what those light fixtures, if we would
Or,
approve.
or we
Right.
just leave it the way it is.
I prefer,
Well, wait a minute.
Well,
Well,
okay,
Go ahead.
well, yeah, if I might say, thanks. So the posts are very much different than a gate. A post is understated, whereas a gate is out there. And gates, and those posts with the lanterns, as you look at them visually, the lanterns right now are almost 50% embedded into the hedges, at least from front on. So it's the fact that there are tall lanterns, bringing them down and mounting them on top of a column doesn't diminish their presence. In fact, it accentuates their presence. And I think, while you're right, Mark, black generally hides many things, and which is why it's such a fashionable color. It covers many ills or things people don't want to see. But I think in this case, given the White House in the historic district, a subtle, diminutive gate, and I give you credit for bringing us a gate that is all of, a few inches above 4 feet high, and maybe 4.5 feet above grade. I think a white gate without columns, and I'd have to see the visual of white versus black and lamps versus no lamps, if that's what Mr. Fagan wants. And so anyway, and the mechanism this would operate?
It's a rack drive.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the technical engineering mechanism.
You mean the keypad?
Yeah,
Yeah, so the keypad, which, as you know, are traditionally mounted on gooseneck stanchion,
Right.
right? In the past, this board has rejected
right.
placement of that.
Yeah.
So we discussed with the client, and the keypad could actually be surface mounted on the left side column.
That would,
It makes it a walk-up,
yeah.
but so be it.
Or radio operated, so.
Well, for the
okay.
clients that have their radio fobs, yes.
Oh, okay, great. So anyway, that's my thoughts.
My only question is, why is it aluminum? Because it's so big? Is it a
You know-
weight issue, or is it a?
It's a structural issue. So the aluminum frame, which is what I did at Pond Lane, that gate, The aluminum frame is much, much lighter than if I made it out of steel. So the frame is not going to be clad. It's all going to be white. And then the wood slats, which are painted the same color, the same white, are surface mounted across the face of the gate. So the aluminum makes for a gate that's rigid, light, corrosion free for the most part, and works well as a cantilever slide gate. Keep in mind it's a span of nearly 16 feet cantilever, you know, with the base section being about 50% or close to 50% of that at the back.
Yeah, I think if it's powdered finish, it's not going to be obvious. And the wood, the coir wood, that's essentially wood that's been treated so that it's more sustainable. But it's not composite wood.
So it's pine. One of
Yeah.
the previous meetings, I brought a sample.
Mhm.
It's a pine that's treated with vinegar and salt. So our wood shop smells like a potato chip factory. But it's rot resistant, insect resistant, and non-toxic. And it takes paint and holds paint well.
I'm of two minds. First of all, let's talk about your survey for just a second, just for the public. It's,
Sure.
this gate is 20 feet off the road, is that correct?
21.
21 feet, so well within. I actually like the height a lot. The only thing I really, first of all, I completely understand people turning in these poor people's driveway as a hobby. So I actually understand, which I don't always understand why, that this gate I totally understand their desire to have a gate. The only thing I'd really personally like to see, I think, is a paint sample, just because this is highly visible. First of all, to me, black would be a non-starter when I look at the house, because this is a highly historic house, an extremely visible portion of the village. And I think that black doesn't feel, to me, cohesive to what the structure is there. There's no other black trim on the house, there's no other black reference to the house. So for me, the white gate makes more sense, especially in this very visible part of the village. And then I would just like to see a paint sample to understand what matte versus shiny and color.
It would be
Yeah.
it's a satin finish, so it's in between.
I would just like to see it.
Okay. And then, like I said, on the plan we wrote white. The client did agree to that. But in our discussion, they've inquired about, could black be acceptable? And I said, all I can do is ask,
Yeah.
is
True.
present it.
And I think it's hard to answer the question about light fixtures without actually knowing what you're proposing, with seeing them. So if you're proposing a light fixture on top of the columns, you'd have to show us a cut of what the light looks like, what color it is. Is the light dark sky compliant? We'd have to know. We just can't say yes
Right,
or no.
it's the light, it's
Yeah.
actually the one that's in the image.
Yeah, but in the one in the image you can't
Yeah.
see.
But
So
you just said that you don't
Yeah.
know if that's compliant, so.
And wouldn't we wanna see it on the top? I'd like to see the whole,
yeah,
Right.
like that,
Post.
I would need to see
cause that really
an
does show.
accurate drawing of what would be built.
It presents to the historic South Main Street,
Yeah.
really. And
And
also,
right off of
Right.
downtown, yeah.
well, I know I realize these people, every Tom, Dick, and Harry tries to turn around
That-
their driveway, I
that-
get
that's-
that.
that-
I mean,
that's
you are
irrelevant, though, for what
a
we're-
victim of the success of Southampton.
We hear
Village.
thousands of reasons why people
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
gates, that's.
But this is particularly, it's the first
Right.
turnaround.
But
I think
it doesn't
John's
matter.
point is that we have rejected applications where the reason someone wants a gate is part of their application. We
Thank
say
you.
you have to
Oh,
stick to the
okay.
standards.
right.
Fine.
All right, so for,
It's
What-
it's
what
the
we generally
reason
ask-
I would say
yeah.
yes, sorry.
what we generally ask is you come and show us exactly what you want. So, because we don't design things for people, so if they would like a light fixture, show me what the light fixture would look like and let us consider it. If it's a white mat, show us what the materials look like so we can consider it. I think the gate itself, in terms of transparency, meets our transparency and height rules. I think it's an attractive design. It's not completely clear to the board exactly what you're asking for, and I don't think we can vote until we know exactly what you're asking for.
In fairness to Mark, I'll share with you. I think that lanterns on top of a post in that section of the village and for that house would not be something that I would be inclined to approve.
Okay,
I would agree.
so
Unless
I think,
it's the mounted lights that are on the post that shine down.
well, they just need to come tell us what they're,
Well,
what
that's
they're asking us
exactly,
to consider.
right,
So
I
here's
don't know
the-
what we're
here's the
voting
thing,
for. We're voting on.
Overall, I think I would need to see a paint sample, so I completely understand, because this is a
Okay.
very visible place. If this is the post that you're wanting us to recommend, then tell us this is the post. If you're wanting us to recommend and consider a light, then you have to show us what that light looks like for consideration. Because you have to consider something we can't see. and let us take a look at the color, and I think, at least I'm sort of hearing that white's probably more acceptable than black.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. So then, do I have any comments from the public? All right, so I hear you asking for an adjournment, so you can come back
We-
next meeting and bring,
Before I ask for the adjournment, as the elevation sketch shows no light,
right?
if the client agrees to just no light,
I still want, you're still adjourning because I still want to see a paint sample.
you wanna see a paint sample, very well.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to move we accept the client's request for an adjournment to July
Thanks.
July 24th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye.
Great, thank
He
you.
does ventriloquism too.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Now what happens is I
Thanks,
keep
Mark.
covering my agenda with all my paper.
Isn't this your paper?
Bless you.
Take it.
Right, so that takes us to 1280 Meadow Lane for 1280 Meadow Lane LLC for a driveway and service gate. Is the applicant here? This is the gentleman that came in and drove all the way from Maine and
Yeah.
presented the gate, and we did not have an issue with the gate, but what we had was a letter from the fire marshal stating that the driveway shape was not to code for fire truck address. What has happened since then is they have changed the shape of the driveway. It's what's in our packet, and we actually have a letter of approval from the fire marshal that is in our, from Dean McNamara that's in the file that says they have satisfied our concerns regarding truck access at 1280 Meadow Lane. So we can approve this without the applicant being here because we approved the gate last time. What we couldn't approve was the driveway.
Yes.
Okay. So then I am gonna move that that's not his turn. I'm gonna move we accept the applicant's application for 1280 Meadow Lane LLC for a driveway gate and service gate, based on the letter received from Dean McNamara from July 3rd and the original drawings as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So last up, almost, we have 118 Harvest Lane for a driveway gate from Randall and Karen Mills. Hello, Miles?
Yep.
Okay, Miles, come on down.
I didn't
We
have
done with
anything, I didn't have anything in my packet on this one.
So this
I
application
have-
was previously given to the board for an earlier meeting.
What? Oh, it's from way back?
It's from a previous meeting.
Yeah, like
I have
Yes,
three
this had
times.
been
Is this it?
adjourned because of a notice issue, but the
Is this
board
it?
had already received this,
That's what
and
they
it may
pulled
have been
up
in
as.
an earlier packet.
So I have a, who would know what this is? Mark? Doesn't have one street or the address, it's really not
Well,
easy to
we
do.
have the affidavits and they're in order.
Well, that's ridiculous,
We
I'm
have
sorry.
the affidavits in there in order. Okay. Do you have plans to present?
Left them on the,
They didn't tell
picture
us
calendar.
we had to bring anything with us, we just figured, they said you have to attend the meeting. So here we are, and we had no idea.
Alex, you wanna address that?
They, Alex?
I can show you all
I'm
the
sorry, what
emails.
was the question?
Um, They were not told that they needed to bring materials to present.
They just said we had to be,
Oh.
and I was at the desk 3 times, they said we just had to bring, we just had to send the stuff to you guys and have the affidavits done, and we had to show up at the meeting.
No, I'm not sure why that would be.
Okay. What I'm going to
Yeah,
ask,
I'll
do you have the,
I can pull up the
can you bring it
plans.
up for us, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I guess that's why I hire contractors and people to do
Not
this stuff
me.
for you.
But actually, to be really fair, on the top of the application, it tells you all the things you need to do to come to the meeting. So if they told you that differently, the building department, I'm sorry, but it actually is spelled out in the application. But
But we did take
Oh, he's
jurisdiction.
taking all my
we've
documents.
taken jurisdiction, and they're here. So let's help our friends out in Harvest.
And here's the file.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay,
sorry,
so
it's-
Alex has got it up on the screen.
Great.
Stuff
All right.
happens.
Good.
So do we go through this? Introduce yourselves,
Karen
please.
Miles, Randall Miles.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
And your address is?
118 Harvest Lane.
Okay. So here's the address. Take us through.
So we have a circular drive, and the plan is to put, well, the wood gates, they said they would aluminum with powder, very powder coat matte finish to go within the design of the house. But they had said I guess the draftsman said you guys prefer the wood, so they'll do whichever you guys approve. The original plan is for the wood. We have a circular drive, so we have, arborvitae, right, arbutus, and they're,
Green giants,
no, green giants are on
in
the
the
side.
back, I'm sorry, you're right.
Arborvitae,
Yeah.
and they're very full, so this gate will slide behind those, so from when it's close from the street, you won't see it. It'll just go behind. We have the circular drive, and we have a little parking, on the side there, so we can't have gates that open. The shape of the driveway, we have to have sliding gates.
Okay.
Unless we redesign the driveway, and that would be a whole other project with you guys, so.
And it's intended to be very low profile, so.
Okay, so
not allowed.
now take us through the height of the gate, the width of the gate, the materials of the gate.
It's to code whatever you guys have, 6 feet, I think it is. You changed it to a lower, it used to be higher, I think, and since we're within, I had stopped by the town hall to the building department, and it was recently changed, I think, so the draftsman had the gates to code.
So your gate, if I'm reading your plan, your gate is 4 foot 2 inches in height, and then I add from the ground, it takes it to about 4.5 feet.
Correct.
And it looks like your width is 7 foot 5 quarter inches per gate, which brings us to right at 15 feet then.
I think the visibility, has to be more open than it was in the past.
Yep, and we need
So
to,
he had all that information when he did the drawings, I think it should be to that standard.
We need 40% transparency. Is there a transparency on here?
Yep.
So there's 2 gates each 7 feet.
Yep. So, which is giving us a width of 14.10. 14.10 and a half. Okay. And talk to us about are there any light fixtures?
No,
Okay. Any addresses or letters on either of these gates?
no, our mailbox is right outside with 118. The reason we're doing it is because we live, as you guys know where that is, we have this new problem. We've been in the house for 3 years, we lived here during the pandemic, where we live half and half in the city and here. And the new thing these people like to do is, they don't realize it's not a through street. So these cars are flying through at rush hour, 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, insanity.
Yes.
And we have a dog, an old dog, and we have another
We're not
dog.
we don't need to take
Well,
any of that.
But
Sorry,
yes, I
but I'm
agree.
just saying it's why we wanna put
There are
the gate
plenty
up.
of stupid people out here, there's no
Yeah.
doubt.
Can I just
I'll
ask-
agree with you.
It's insane.
So,
I-
I wanna ask a technical question, which is, on the other board I was on, these plans had to be stamped by either an architect or an engineer, which I don't see on this plan. What is the rule here, Alice?
My understanding is that we don't require that for
Okay.
driveway
For
gates,
driveway
but
gates.
that's a question for the building department.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. On the, I mean, I understand each of the drawings. The gate on this looks like it's 2 separate gates. When you look at the survey, it looks as though it's one single gate. Oh, did I do that again?
Chris is
You
working
didn't
your
do it
water.
the first time.
Is your gate designed to look like it's 2 gates, but it's actually 1?
Oh,
So that's a
that
design.
is- okay.
It's
Never
gonna
mind.
slide.
That's a design.
It's not gonna open, it's gonna
Yeah.
slide, so that's why, yeah.
All right.
It gives the appearance
I
of
get it
like
now.
the keys, your neighbors down the street, they have 2 sets
Yes.
of keys, and those
Exactly,
actually,
right.
and this one is actually, it looks like that, but it actually goes over as 1 unit.
Yeah.
Just wanna
Okay.
keep it as simple as possible with just
Totally.
the.
So, if, Alex, if you can stay on that picture, so that picture, to me visually, looks like the openings are as wide as the slats. In the actual drawing, the slats are 3 inches, if I recall correctly, and the openings are 2.5 inches or something to that,
That's not okay.
right?
It's so hard to read this.
So, I think, I like the openings,
it's
look, you have a
3
pretty
inches.
house, you have a
Where's
nice
the
driveway, the
space?
whole way it's
Three
configured,
pickets
and where it
and the
is on
space is
that
3
street
1/8
is beautiful.
Between pickets.
And I think
That's what
you
they
do
say?
yourself a disservice,
Huh?
by making the pickets
Well, no one could. read
wider than the opening. And not that function is our issue, but I think architecturally, it looks better with, if you go to
Equal to
essentially a 50% opening by having the open space equal to the slats.
Okay.
I think, yeah, they were trying to fill the requirements, I think probably,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Well, I
The
think
requirement's a minimum.
Yeah. Well, I think what's
Yeah,
happened.
exactly.
I think what's happened is in the drawing from Masterpiece Drafting Associates, the picket, the open to picket ratio differs than what you see when you look at it in the rendering. Because the rendering, see how the spaces are even?
Mhm.
And in the drawing, the pickets are wide and the spaces are narrow.
And
So-
aren't there more pickets?
Yeah, I'm not sure, that looks odd to me, it looks like they just dropped this. the inspirational photo in there, I don't know.
Well, what I actually need.
What
You
else
like
do
the
you need?
inspiration.
What I need, in the world of belts and suspenders, here's what I need. I need drawings I need
That match.
renderings that match the drawings.
got
I think the height's great, color's great, operation's great, fine. Even the idea that it's supposed to be like two, I think is very interesting. But we need to have from our friends at MPD, we need to have drawings that match the rendering,
Got
because because it can't be one or the other. So,
Right.
because in the belts and suspenders world, as I was saying, with both of them,
And-
we need
and-
both.
Based
Sorry.
on the last sketch, do you need to see a sample of
I would like
materials?
to see a sample of
Yeah.
materials.
And Karen, picking up on what Alice was saying, is the 40% isn't a point to meet, it's the minimum standard. So, again, I think more space is better than less
Yeah.
space. And whether it's 50% or 60% open. So like if you wanted to have 3-inch openings and 2-inch slats, that would be fine too. Whatever
nicer, yeah.
looks better is our primary concern. And again, on that street, for a number of reasons. One, not only is your house an attractive house and you have an interesting driveway, but there aren't that many gates there. So I think the more understated the gate is, the better your house will look,
Right.
and
Well,
the
and
better
it's-
it will conform to
Yeah, we don't want
to
it
the
to be grand,
neighborhood.
we want it to be
Yeah.
understandable.
I just
Yeah.
wanted it functional, that didn't
Yeah,
detract, like to your point,
understand.
detract from everything else just for safety.
Yeah.
And
So,
Okay.
so what I hear is you asking for an adjournment to July 24th.
Get an adjournment, you need a
And
sample.
and need a color sample, and talk to your renderer.
that needs to match.
Tell him to watch this tape. Tell him next time he probably should have come with you, because he would have been able to answer this.
Yeah.
And if they make the pickets 50-50, that gives us more transparency, and the more transparency, the better. The basic design of the gate's fine. What we're
It's the details.
the details just ought to match all the
Yeah,
pieces.
no problem.
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
fair.
It was
Yeah.
worth sitting through the
Oh, thanks, you guys.
So then I'm going to move we accept the applicant's request for an adjournment for 118 Harvest Lane. Do I have a
Oh, wait,
second?
I don't think we took
Oh, did
public
we-
comment.
Any public comment?
Guess not.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to move we accept the applicant's request for adjournment to July 24th for 118 Harvest Lane. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Dave,
you.
just get that done, the committee.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks.
let's see, any diagrams were part of the original file, so
Okay.
if you have any, let's submit those, let's put them back into the folder.
Mark, should we ask why people
I'm
are
about
still
to.
in attendance?
Are you here
I
for,
just wanna point out
are you
there's
here
someone
for a
with their hand
specific
up in the,
project?
virtual.
Yes.
What is it?
Stewart, 49 Breeze Lane.
Oh, we're well beyond that. Yeah.
You know what, Flo, we didn't want to sit all night like
Yeah.
this.
I'm sorry, but we're already well beyond it. We've already closed it out for tonight. I'm sorry.
Can you tell us the status?
It was
We didn't talk
approved.
about it.
What, 49 Breeze Lane?
49, yeah.
What was approved?
We approved
Oh,
it.
it was
We
approved.
approved it with
Oh.
the most recent round of updates.
Yeah.
But
You're-
you were great with the last meeting, so.
Thank-
And
Yeah,
they-
and he was great, because he made the windows smaller, and a lot of the changes, I think you'll be very, if you
Oh.
were in agreement with what our comments were in the last meeting, you'll be fine.
I was concerned about a 150-year-old London plane tree, which is on the edge of the property, and that I saw plans.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
we've already
too
closed,
late.
we've already closed public comment now tonight, and I'm sorry we
But-
can't.
So,
right.
just to suffice it to say, that this is in the non-historic district, so there's no code related, and we have no authority over trees. So that's something that you should take up, or would be something to take up with the neighbors.
I
And,
can take it up with them directly.
sure, your neighbors.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The last thing on our agenda is actually your protocol.
Okay.
The
Not
last-
my
No,
protocol.
No, the protocol that we're talking about. So I have had an initial conversation with Sarah. I found it to send it out. And she's suggesting, once I get her comments, we should also get Zach's comments together and then come back with a proposal. We should be able to get that to you, I'm hoping and be done with it by the 24th.
Okay,
See,
so,
there is motion on it.
yeah, we should keep that moving. It's my understanding that, they're waiting for their building permit,
Oh, okay.
so.
So,
Okay.
did we open that, or would you open it?
This is a work session item.
So then there's no comment?
Yeah, I'm curious what the hand is, though.
Who knows?
It's someone who's.
Whatever it is, we've closed out, so.
I just want to congratulate us.
So I'm gonna move, with
Move to
that,
close.
I'm going to move that we close this session of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.